Alright, welcome back to another episode on the Stay Gold now?
Stay Gold, baby.
Stay Gold.
What rebrand?
Yeah, a little bit of name change, but we're just staying gold. We're going to talk about The Northman, Robert Eggers' latest and greatest film. So, yeah, let's get into it.
Yo, can I just say how glad I am that we watched The Lighthouse before watching this one?
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, immediately I was struck by the cinematography of this one and kind of the similarities, so.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know if I would have appreciated it or given it as much, prestige right off the bat if I hadn't seen The Lighthouse yet. So I think it definitely added to my experience, too,
Yeah.
I think that that's one of the things I don't typically look forward in a movie when I'm first watching it, but I knew going into it that he was going to be technically perfect in every shot. So that was one of the things I was like, damn, this is good. Like the oneers that he does and things like that.
Yeah, he has some really good.
It was
really good.
I was the one that sticks out to me is kind of after. Okay, can we also say I don't know, this is Hamlet, right? This is essentially Shakespeare.
The first thing I wrote down on this movie was that Eggers is our modern day Shakespeare, and that sounded cheesy when I wrote it, but it's so true because he can take take that classical language and put it into a compelling character story that our modern time is digesting perfectly.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was I totally feel that.
I as I was watching this one and decoding the Shakespearean stuff out of it, it reminded me of Tragedy of Macbeth. Wow, this one, The Northman, is doing a lot more for me than Tragedy of Macbeth did. Not saying that one was bad, but I don't know, just throwing it into the Norse, it fits. It lends itself to the Norse shaman shit that's going on. I thought it pushed it thematically a lot better than Tragedy of Macbeth did.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I actually knew.
No, go ahead, Patricia.
Go ahead.
I actually didn't know anything about the movie. I just saw that you guys watched it. I was like, okay, I'll watch it. And then I think after the movie, I was like, that was pretty good. It reminded me of The Lighthouse. And I looked it up. I was like, oh, that makes sense. That makes so much sense. I just love how, I don't know how to explain it, but just I was by myself in a dark theater because I went at night because no one would come with me, but it's okay. But I felt like I was in there with them. Kind of how I felt with The Lighthouse. I was miserable with them.
Yeah.
It was just
it's very intense.
It was just so good. Yeah.
Yeah, I will say, funnily enough, out of the three that I watched up to here, this one was my favorite theater experience by far. Yeah. I felt I got so much more out of it in the theater, sound design. It's just everything. You said, the wonders, there's that one shot where they starts on the shore and a boat passes by and then it just goes out into the boat and then you're there rowing with them and stuff. It's I dig this style.
Yeah, it was an awesome experience in the theater for sure.
It definitely was. I took Sarah to see this. I took her to see both these movies, and usually she is like, "Why don't do this to me again?" But she actually enjoyed. I don't say enjoyed. She liked this one, but she liked Everything Everywhere All at Once. But this one specifically, she was like, "Yeah, that was pretty good."
Nice.
She was like, "Not what I was expecting." I was like, honestly, it wasn't what I was expecting either. But either way, I really it was
definitely I think the reason why everyone's liking this one more is it does feel more, I don't want to say mainstream, but it's more accessible than The Lighthouse, just in terms of story and characters and even the themes. You can latch onto a lot of stuff in this movie. You kind of know exactly what's going on the whole time, I would say.
Right. And that goes to what Noah was saying about the dialogue and how it's written and how it's kind of old-timey type stuff, but it wasn't too thick and bogged down to where it was hard to understand and hard to follow because it was multiple themes of revenge and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So,
family drama.
Right.
Basically.
Right.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because I kind of when I saw the trailer before, right? I kind of remembered The Green Knight.
Dude.
And I was like, that movie was pretty okay to me. Like, it was good. But at the end, I was kind of still confused. I think I'm still confused until now, after like months after watching the movie. But it's like kind of the same vibe, but like you guys kind of said, like, it's just more, I don't know. It was more understandable to me. I didn't feel kind of stupid after. Like, it was complicated, but like not complicated that I'm like confused, you know?
Yeah, I think that was like one of the things that bogged down Tragedy of Macbeth is like you're literally like all the line is in Shakespearean English, so you're literally like trying to kind of decode it while you're. But like this one fed you just enough of like modern language and old Victorian language, so it was like it just flowed a little bit better. And I know what you're saying. With that.
Yeah. Yeah, this definitely would make like a perfect double feature to The Green Knight. That's what I wrote because like. I had the same feelings, Patricia. I was like, this is like, it was like so crazy that they came out like a year apart or whatever, but it even has like the same like low voice actor at the end, if you noticed him. Like, it was like totally giving me those vibes, but I think I enjoyed this one more than The Green Knight overall, from what I remember.
I really liked how he would go on these like spiritual visions, and some of them you're like, are these actually happening to him, or are these like, you know, spiritual, like when he gets the sword and stuff, how it's kind of like, oh, this is what he's doing, and then it shows like,
was it like the legend of it almost like?
That's what it was like.
I
thought it was the shrooms, but you know,
that like drug trip with the father and son.
Yeah,
that's setting up.
That was awesome. I really liked Ethan Hawke in this. Like he was literally down and dirty with it. Like and his like final fuck you speech or whatever was like just perfect.
Yeah, that hit me. That landed for me.
Right.
Yeah.
He definitely killed every scene that he was in, the limited scenes that he was in, but he did really well.
Right.
I really liked
I gotta say though too, the like I was not ready for the gore of this movie. Like it's brutal. Like some of that stuff
vicious. That first pillaging scene was like, it's like a long take, which was one of the best scenes in the movie.
Yes.
But so insane and so brutal, and it ends with like the burning down the entire building. And like they just literally brought a kid in there, and I don't know. I was just really glad. It was terrible to watch, but I was glad that they put that in the movie because like you're telling the story and you either like shy away from the reality of it and make it more accessible, or you like go into it. And our main character is not that guy who is wanting to do all that shit. Like you can tell, but he's living that world, so you have to show it, I would say.
That's
I love like
appreciate.
Sorry.
About Robert Eggers is that he takes his stuff seriously. Like with the Lighthouse, with this, he doesn't pussyfoot. Like he puts what he wants, and he doesn't like bend the knee to, you know,
whoever,
certain people or whatever, what have you. He just like, this is the story, and I want to get this story out there.
So you have to respect it
a lot.
Yeah. Because like I love the way they kind of pose him as like this beast man, and it's like no, it's clearly like he's compelled emotionally to do some of these things, but he's still fighting it too, you know.
Yeah.
I think there's kind of all behind it and stuff.
The internal struggle of like in the end, like decision when he goes to fight instead of going with his kids. Like that to me informed like the entire story, but also it's like his growth. Yeah. He's living the prophecy that is laid before him, which is kind of why like the Green Knight parallels a lot. But like it's his journey, and I feel like it was perfectly encapsulating like a true Norse man's journey. Like I wanted him to go have the happy family, but in that time he's gonna go fucking kill the guy. Like
he's dedicated his life to this at this point.
Yeah,
in some fashion.
So I just thought
even like when
it didn't sell out. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, even when he found out that his mom was basically like not who he thought she was, I thought he was gonna be like, oh god, okay, I'll just give this all up. But his blind faith towards his father and like that mission that he had. He just kept going. And I was like, okay,
It's too ingrained.
respect, you know.
Yeah.
But I will say I don't really dig Nicole Kidman, especially since I see her every movie I see with her like shiny fucking pantsuit and walking into AMC.
The AMC.
It's terrible. But I thought she was
movie's better.
It's like, who empty theater first off, and she's like, who wears that to the movie theater? It's a joke. But I thought she did really good in this movie. Actually, I'm not a huge fan, and especially that scene where she's like revealing her true intentions. Like, whoo, that was brutal.
The best performance in a long time.
I think so too. Yeah.
I do want to say it's kind of weird seeing her and Alexander Skarsgård as mother and son, because I recently just watched them as husband and wife in Big Little Lies or Little Big Lies.
Yeah,
something
I
like
read that actually, that they were playing mother son and they were married in that one.
That is kind of weird.
I was like, okay, this weird, but you know, it is what it is.
But
the performance though, like, took me out. So,
did you guys like Skarsgård then, or?
Yeah, I think he did. He was in it. Like that was. He totally went
just embodying all the physicality.
Yeah, I haven't like seen him as a. Yeah, I mean, he's ripped in that scene where he's ravaging. He's just bare-chested fighting these dudes in armor.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it was like the first time I really like considered him as leading man. I think he carried it. I mean, he did. Yeah. It was all his story, and you know, he did a good job. But,
I only saw him as like this eye candy. You know, but in this movie, I was like, "Dang, okay, I see you." You know,
I feel that. I mean, it's like, Matt said it before. I think after we watched Tragedy Macbeth, but it's like if you're watching Shakespeare, he's gonna just like flex on you, like dialogue, like rhetorically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's trying to flex on you. Shakespeare is like,
yeah, and so like it feels like a perfect for so. It just felt perfect, and then Alex Skarsgård sell it. You know, I think it just came together a lot better than I expected it to be honest. I really didn't know what I was walking into.
Yeah. It's cool. I don't know. It's just like weird for me to see so many Skarsgårds because I was like noticing little things that like you can tell across brothers. Like they have the same like kind of, and it's probably like you could try to tell with me and Noah like we have the same somewhat style of just like being. So I just like saw little moments where I saw like his brothers and stuff, and it's just kind of cool. But
they were there too. Where?
If they're in the background, they're other Vikings.
Oh, like. I was like, what?
He's the guy who gets the nose chopped off.
Yeah, right. You just can't tell
him.
No, I don't think that.
Oh, okay.
I'm just playing.
I was like, there's like 50 of them.
Dude, when Skarsgård walks by him. And he just fucking like snorts out his nose at him. I was like, oh god, that's so gross.
Yeah. Eggers loves his goo, his body, farting, burping. Like he just has to put a scene in somewhere, you know. Like
slobber, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
I really liked Anya Taylor-Joy in this too. She's got it. She's got something, you know. And
she's a powerhouse, dude.
That steamy sex scene. I mean.
In the woods. What's that? Roy Kent says. It's like I can never have sex outside because I can never be that free with myself. Like making love in the forest. That's bestial, man.
I mean, everybody's doing it, right? Everybody there is doing it.
Right?
It's just the thing.
Yeah. Shrooms and
find a lady in the forest.
Yeah.
Some of the visuals that stood out for me in this movie were the family tree. I thought was really cool, just the visual of it, but also the embodied. I think Eggers does a good job of being like, what does a Norse man believe? He really believes in like the family tree of like his ancestors, and he's like visual. He's literally and like, so I really dug that. He went back to that a few times, but also the volcano. It starts with just like barely starting smoking or whatever, and then by the end of it, he's obviously like in magma and fighting and whatever. But
the lake of fire, man.
Yeah, that was just a good
fucking sweet
visual metaphor for the entire journey, you know.
Yeah,
That was so sweet.
yeah.
The naked
Yeah,
final
puts you
fight
in
too.
that mindset.
The naked.
I
It was
was
epic.
reading that Skarsgard kept the bloody thong that he wore in that fight scene. So
Oh, really? I was like, this is like
just gotta-
Eastern Promises vibes, a little more classy, you know. It's like got some.
It's sword fighting, huh?
Yeah.
that's what I told Sarah going
Gore.
into it. I said the only thing I know about this movie is that there will be two naked men fighting at some point. And she's like, "What's wrong with you?" I was like, "Hey,
Like, you don't want this?
You should be
Like-
thanking.
I knee
Yeah.
up.
That was awesome. Puts you in that headspace of the Northmen, the Norse, this Norse warrior. You know, like when they're around that fire and like the guys chanting, they're like chanting fucking the bear, the soul of the bear or the wolf, and like they're, you know, it makes me like think like, damn, this is probably thought part of, or at one point was part of the Norse belief system, you know, and like how it kind of sprung up. And
Yeah.
I think it nailed that. I think you're right. I think it nailed that part.
Yeah.
Definitely. I guess. Oh, go ahead.
no, I just go ahead." I had nothing
No, I'm
to say.
just say it, bro. I'm gonna take us on a turn. So.
Oh,
Let it
yeah.
rip.
No, I just wish I knew more about Norse stuff going into the movie.
Yeah.
That way I could maybe like, I don't know.
I want to say crows are like a really big thing in Norse. I mean, obviously they're big in this movie, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think they symbolize a lot. I should have looked it up, but
They symbolize.
Well,
I know
seems
it's like
animals
Odin's
are just
animal
Yeah.
symbol,
Hmm.
and he's like an all-seeing, all-knowing kind of thing. So it's
Yeah.
like,
and like the crows
I don't know.
cutting him down
Mhm.
when he's hanging.
Yeah.
That's like they're like
Yeah.
they're like
sign of
messengers of the prophecy or whatever.
divine.
Yeah.
Yeah, divine intervention almost. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I'm super into Norse and Greek mythology. I was.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So and as a Norse geek or whatever you want to aficionado, it hit all the right notes for me. Like Sons of Freya and like, you know, like the references it made, it just really like hit that feel. Very
Nice.
well.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
read that or listened to him on a podcast. Actually, Robert Eggers was talking about it, and he was saying how they tried to be super accurate, and you know he's super precise about everything that he wants, and so they were really dedicated at making it accurate and making sure it was up to the Norse standards. So another
Yeah.
thing that's just cool. You don't see that very often in a lot of things.
Yeah.
Follow through.
Dedication. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And
nice.
it's cool that like even someone like me who knows nothing about any of that still can kind of understand it without having to be like, what,
Yeah.
so that's kind of
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. It's a human
'cause,
story.
it was just a
at the end of it.
relatable story. Yeah. It was
Yeah.
a story about
Yeah.
family, revenge, all that good stuff. So
Yeah.
Right.
good.
I guess I'm just gonna take the last few minutes on this review to just. I started feeling a little negative, like maybe 3/4 in, and I don't want to say it's just this movie's problem, but I think it's just like all movies now are feeling a little overlong to me for some reason. I don't know if it's my attention span, but I also would think that the structure in this last little bit, where it's like him murdering people over 4 consecutive nights, didn't really do justice to the story, and it didn't need to be there. And I just like, I wish like the second act of a lot of stories didn't have to be so convoluted that it would just, because we already like know the journey nowadays, and the second act of every movie feels like it just like has to like get and I just want to like
way there.
and it's just like go like do the little things along the way that you need to do, but then just don't stop the flow of it all. Maybe I'm like ragging too hard on it, but it just, I don't know. A lot of movies today are like really dipping in the second act and then pulling it out in the third act. But it's like if you just tighten that second act, it's like a perfect movie. So like
Right.
that's just what I felt a little bit in this one.
I can understand that. I think it did for me. Yeah, I think it did drag a little bit, like, because like when he hears about his uncle and basically are just sheep farmers now. That's what they rule because he wasn't the leader he thought he was going to be or whatever. Yeah, once they get to that village, it's really just, it's like, yeah, I'm going to torment this village, and it's like it really like
Takes its time.
it steps us. Yeah, like it takes us. Yeah, it really like lets us hang the torture. I don't know if that was the point, but it did affect the pacing. think.
I get you. One more logical issue I remember now too is that he's like the big decision to go back to fight is that he's like he'll never stop until he gets my sons or whatever, and like he's a sheep farmer. Like he doesn't have the power anymore to do that. So I kind of like there's like little things here and there. I was like, man, just tighten, tick, 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 little twist of the screws. But
I feel like that would be like his journey. Like, yeah, he's just a sheep farmer, but now he's got nothing to lose. Just like Skarsgård didn't have anything to lose.
That might be true. Yeah.
What's stopping him from going to the ends of the earth to fuck up?
That's true. Actually, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, Hamlet instead of the other way around.
It just sucks that they were literally on the boat
like ready to go.
Actually, I was worried.
Yeah.
I was worried that it was going to end on a happy note, and I was like, "Don't you fucking do this to me, movie! I know you're better than this." And then he went back. I was like, "All right, now we're in it."
All right, you can't sell out.
Yeah.
You can't tease the buildup of that fight and then not do it. So.
Oh
Yeah, you're like you can't. This can't be it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Iron brimstone, dude. I need it.
Prophecy must be fulfilled. But great experience in the theater. I gave it 4 stars though. So.
Yeah, I think I landed on 4.5.
I did too. I think 4.5.
Yeah, great movie.
Yeah, I put it at 4, and then I realized I put Tragedy of Macbeth at 4, and I was like, well, I definitely enjoyed this more than Tragedy of Macbeth. So I either have to dock Tragedy of Macbeth or put Northman up. So we'll get there. I don't know, but I sat on 4.
It's definitely elevated material, without a doubt.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I tried to watch Tragedy of Macbeth, but I tried to watch it at night. Mistake, because I was like, I can't sit here. I have to watch the subtitles, obviously.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, I can't do this.
We were in the theater.
I gotta watch this when I'm awake.
Yeah, me and Noah watched in the theater, which I think helped my experience of it. Because it literally 5 minutes in, you sit forward and you're just like, okay, like you have to
go.
Add attention. Yeah.
But I enjoyed that movie a lot. So
yeah. I really want to watch it. It's just I got to find a time where I'm ready to sit down and just, like you said, focus.
Get into the Shakespeare.
Yeah, you have to be in the mood for those kinds of movies. Mm-hmm. That's why it's like hard for me to like just sit and just watch.
Yeah, but that's why this one you could probably recommend this one to anyone, and they'd be like, "Wow, that was a pretty good movie." Like, no one's gonna be like, "Dude, that was so fucking dumb and I didn't understand." Like. The language, I don't think you could even really complain about the language in this movie because it's just so understandable,
Yeah, and it wasn't like, what I also liked about it wasn't like your typical, what you would expect out of a Viking movie, It wasn't these grand battles and all this stuff. It was just, his story, his journey, his fate.
Yeah.
It's much more personal
Viking
second act.
Yeah.
No, go ahead, Matt. Go ahead.
No, I just said there's enough Viking ravaging to like hold someone who's not as interested,
Right.
And then the actual, what I think the impactful story. So
it's just a lot
for
more
someone
grounded.
who wants to see it. Yeah.
Right. For sure. Well, it sounds like a recommend from all of us. So
definitely.
Yeah, definitely check this one out.
Can't recommend Lighthouse, but we can recommend this.
Yeah.
You can recommend Lighthouse to certain people.
Yeah, people who get
certain
it.
People, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you're listening, like and subscribe. That would be awesome. And we'll see you on the next review.
Yep.